Do not use AI to think for you, which is the mistake people make.
That's right.
Hey, AI, my professor wants me to write a book report on this. Would you write it for me? You're an idiot
Yeah.
if you do that. Hey, AI, I've got this product I want to sell. Would you write a video sales letter script for that?
Hmm.
It's an idiot doing that. You're giving away your power. You're giving away the most powerful, the superpower you could have in the AI world is critical thinking.
That's right. So, Randy, if I had to ask you, if you had to share one prosperity tip with all the listeners that are listening right now, what would that be?
Let me give you two if I'm allowed.
Why not?
One will be $1 million tip. One will be a multi-million-dollar tip. You good with that?
Of course.
All right. So here's $1 million tip. And by the way, when I say $1 million tip, I mean, this is a tip I really believe made me at least $1 million, right?
Right.
And this is the first $1 million tip is when you go to bed, charge your phone in a room different than the one you sleep in.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, right? People say, "Oh, come on, that's not worth $1 million." You would be astounded what that will be worth
Hmm.
to your sleep, your energy, your focus, and how you begin the next day.
Hmm.
If you're ending your day putting your last snarky tweet on X, or reading
Yeah.
some mindless drivel on, watching some mindless drivel on TikTok or whatever, and then having the bell go. And there's so much research about screens and the
Yeah.
light and how it affects your sleep. So that
Yep.
would be really think like that's $1 million tip if people will up. And I get so many people because I wrote that in a book I did a year or two ago, and I get DMs every week. Oh my God, what a difference that made for me. And the other one, really big one, is ask yourself this question: do I work for money or does money work for me?
Hmm.
Because I believe that's the single most important prosperity question we'll ever ask ourselves.
Hmm.
Because if you work for money, it's finite. If money works for you, it's infinite. And you always want to be playing the infinite game.
That's right. I mean, have heard it in different ways from a lot of people, right? But I just want to understand so that I mean, I want to ask it in a fashion that everybody understands it and takes it properly, right? So I want to understand why is working for money finite and why is money working for us an infinite proposition, right? So that people have it clear and they see the actual difference in the whole thought process.
Yeah, great question. Because no matter how much money you're paid per hour, you could be a brain surgeon and maybe you make 100 grand an hour.
Hmm.
You still have a finite amount of hours that you can trade for money. You
Hmm.
will just run out of hours at some point. And you can't be doing brain surgery 8 hours a day and say, okay, I'm going to schedule 8 brain surgeries for an hour each, one at 9 a.m., one at 10 a.m. It doesn't work that way. You
Yeah.
do them when they come up, as emergencies happen, as people need them, as it works with the operating room schedule and your staff and your
Yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
Whereas when you have money work for you,
Hmm.
you get to the place where I'm trying to get, like for the people who follow my work, where I'm always encouraging them, we've got to get you to the place where you wake up every day wealthier than you were when you went to sleep the night before. And that can happen if you're working for money because you're not making
Yeah.
any money when you're sleeping. But if your money is earning for you all day, every day, even while you're sleeping, you
Hmm.
literally, and you won't get there in 10 minutes, right? It'll take you some
Yeah.
time, but you will get to the point where every day you're wealthier than you were yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That's the infinite game. And then because you're wealthier today than you were yesterday, you can keep reinvesting that money in whatever platforms or mediums that you've found that grow that money.
Hmm.
You have more of it to put in it, and then that
Yeah.
creates a greater return. You start to look at exponential growth, you start to look at leverage deeper, you start to look at the law of compounding, which is,
Yeah.
the eighth wonder of the world or whatever we want to
Yeah.
call it. And that really is the infinite game.
Hmm. Okay, now talking about this money growing as we sleep, right? Making money work for us even while we're resting. There's so many things that people talk about, right? You have side hustles, you have creating a business, or you have investing, right? There's so many things, and there are a lot of people out there, you can call them quacks, who say that this is the $1 million method that will make you money while you're sleeping, right? But if I were to ask you, right, from your work, from your experience, what's that one way that has worked out for like 75% of people that you work with?
Well, you always got to look for leverage. How do
Right.
every business thing I do, I look at how do I automate, how do I systematize, and how do I scale?
Yeah.
Those are three of the most important questions any business person
Mhm.
slash entrepreneur wants to ask themselves. How do I automate, systematize, and scale?
Yeah.
And that's what works for everybody, right? So, and when you and it starts with putting your money to work, it starts with getting leverage. So, if you join a direct selling company,
Hmm.
uh, whatever, and you get a team of people and you train them, now you're leveraging your hours. Maybe you're working 12 hours a week in your Herbalife business or your Amway business or New Skin or whatever company, but you got five people who are working 12 hours a week. Now you're working 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Not really, you're working 12, but you're getting paid for 60.
Yeah.
Now the group gets bigger, it's more. Same thing if we invest money in an income property and we buy a fourplex and we live in one of the units and we rent out the other three units
Mhm.
and they're making money. Now we've leveraged our money because we could buy a $750,000 building for $120,000 down or something. So we're
Yeah.
leveraging half a
Hmm.
million dollars with smart credit, not
Uh-huh.
foolish debt,
Yeah.
right? Borrowing money to buy a high HD TV is dumb debt.
Yeah.
Borrowing money that produces a higher income than the cost of the money is a
Hmm.
brilliant debt. So again, it's leverage. So we look at time leverage, people leverage, money leverage. Any one of those we
Hmm.
can do. And I want everyone listening, watching to know, even if your job is being a barista at Starbucks, trading hours for dollars, you could set aside part of your income to
Hmm.
work for you, to invest. Or you can keep your full-time job at Starbucks and you say, I'm going to drive Lyft or Uber or rideshare, or I think maybe it's Sidecar in India still. And I'm going to do that an extra 10 hours a week. And I'm going to take that money that I make in 10 hours a week, and that's what I'm going to invest in my prosperity growth fund. So there is no magical, mystical secret. You don't have to
Yeah.
buy my $497 e-course to learn the secrets. All right. This
Yeah.
is the leverage, compounding. These are principles that have stood the test of time for thousands of years.
Yeah.
It's just finding a way that for the average person, because that's how Elon and Jeff Bezos and Oprah Winfrey and J.K. Rowling and
Yeah.
pick the wealthiest people in the world, they all got that way. Not almost all of them got that way. And if they stay that way, because they practice leverage in some kind of form.
Hmm.
Oprah can't work any more hours in a week than you can or I
That's
can.
right.
But if she publishes a magazine, if she has a newsletter, if she writes books, if she has television residuals, if she produces movies, right? She's got money that can work for her even when she's not working.
Right. Okay, now there's two directions I want to go in. First is the dumb debt and the good debt, right? Uh, in this age of consumerism, as it's been called quite a few times, right? At the age where you can buy something on installments, or the culture of buy now, pay later, right? And with so many ways in which you can get enticed into buying a flat screen TV, or say a fancy dishwasher, right? Uh, what's the mindset that you help people to build, right? To stop themselves from doing something like that? Because obviously there is, oh, I have a little money. Okay, if I can get this on a loan, I'll probably get a better device, right? Something of that sort.
Well, so I've got a lot of free content on this in my blog, right? About like getting out of debt, using credit smartly. So anyone, on the show now, if you go to my website, which is just randygage.com, click the blog, you'll see I've written like 10,000 blog posts, but you could just search leverage, money, wealth building, and you'll pull up topics, right? So, one of the things I want my people who follow my work to do is get out of debt, all stupid debt,
Mhm.
credit card debt, car debt, all of that. I want them to become debt free. And then, like, even when I buy cars or homes,
Mhm.
well, I want to be careful here. Sometimes it makes sense to finance a home, right?
Mhm.
There's sometimes it may make sense to finance a car. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not an accountant. I'm a high school dropout. So let's be very clear about that.
Mhm.
I'm not offering any legal or financial or
Yeah.
accounting advice because I'm just a high school dropout who became pretty wealthy, right? On the street smarts.
Yeah.
And so again, I look at foolish debt and I look at smart debt. Okay, like I have, I don't know what model iPhone this is, but it's not the latest one.
Yeah.
It's two or three models ago. I I bought the iPhone 1, and then the next one I bought was the 5. The next one I bought was like the 8th. So maybe this is, I don't know, 12 or 14 or something. I don't know what number they're on now. I have broke friends who buy the newest model iPhone as soon as it comes out. They're
Yeah.
in line at the Apple store and they
Mhm.
don't even use it for their business. That's just stupid debt because they're putting it on a credit card. They're not even paying
Yeah.
cash for it.
Yeah.
Smart people, when I first made money, I did all the stupid money things, right? I bought all my exotic cars. I've had 9 or 10 different Vipers. I had 3 or 4 models of the same model, just different colors. So whatever mood I
Yeah.
wanted to drive that day. And I love that. I hope everyone in their life has the opportunity to do that. Because I wasn't borrowing money for that. I was paying
Yeah.
cash for all those cars, right? I
Mhm.
owned them out. I wasn't one of these, Instagram idiots who rents a Lamborghini for a day to film the video
Yeah.
or these people, they get one quick score and they buy a Lambo, but
Mhm.
2 months later they're Lamb broke because they
Yeah.
don't really have that kind of residual
Mhm.
income to justify that car. I did it the smart way, not even the smart way. That's not true. I did it the fun way, but I did it in a savvy way. At least I was paying cash for them and I earned enough money that I could have, it was prudent and I could afford
Yeah.
it. But then I learned to become a steward of money and I realized, well, okay, imagine if I took 3 or 4 of those cars that I don't drive because I had a guy who comes every Monday to wash my cars and then I'd say,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't drive the yellow Viper this week. I didn't drive the red Viper this
Mhm.
week. I didn't drive the Aston Martin this week. So don't bother doing the interior or, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's wow, if I took a couple of those cars and put that $400,000 invested into something that grows my money, that could be a couple $1 million in a year or two. So
Mhm.
you learn, hey, how to be a
True.
smart,
Yeah.
savvy steward of money and how to be a smart, savvy user of credit.
Okay. Now, the other one, thanks for that, because yeah, it's mindset shift, right? You have to have had enjoyed your money to actually learn that, yeah, it's this good thing to do is actually use it for and rotate it, right? So the other thing that I wanted to ask was about time leverage, money leverage, and people leverage, right? Three very important things that we have to learn either from others or from experience, right? We talked about money, leveraging money, right? We've now what I want to talk about is leveraging time positively and leveraging people positively, right? Two very different skills that not everybody has and everybody develops over periods of time. So, if there was one tip that you wanted to share when it comes to leveraging time on a daily basis, the first one, obviously, you mentioned, right? When it comes to good rest, putting your phone in the other room when you're sleeping, right? That's fundamental, I guess, when it comes to leveraging your time properly, getting good rest, right? But other than good rest, if you add something.
Okay, as far as time, I have two words for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really two letters, one word, AI.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I have leveraged my money to leverage my time.
Uh-huh.
I have spent the last 2 years going down the rabbit hole of AI,
Mm-hmm.
knowing or believing 2 years ago, this is going to be the most fundamental disruption of my lifetime.
Yeah.
Or more than the internet, more than social media, more than frosted Pop Tarts, even. This is going to be the
Yeah.
biggest disruption of my lifetime. So I've
Uh-huh.
been going down the rabbit hole. And I have a co CEO, which I
Mhm.
had built for me. It's trained on my work with my books, my blog posts, my podcast. It is trained to think and write like I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I use it as a second brain. And I use
Right.
it to save me dozens of hours every week.
Yeah.
I've created another agent. Now I host a podcast just like you do.
Mm-hmm.
I've created a podcast agent. And when I say I created, of course, I mean I told someone what I wanted it to do and I gave them money to do it.
Right.
So I have a podcast agent now that I could say, hey, I have a pod, and I do this every week. Hey,
Okay.
I have Jimmy Smith going to be on my podcast on Wednesday. Please prepare everything.
Right.
In literally 4 seconds, it will research Jimmy Smith. What is his area of expertise? How is it related to me? It'll
Mm-hmm.
give me 5 or 10 possible show titles. It'll give me
Right.
5 to 10 possible subject lines for the promotion. It'll give me 5 to 10 possible reveal lines for the email that shows up. That's the
Yeah.
teaser. It will prepare the promo copy. It'll give me a show description. It'll write the introduction for Jimmy. It will prepare 10 or 15 sample questions for Jimmy.
Okay.
It'll give me the YouTube show description. It'll give me the keywords I should use in the YouTube back office
Yeah.
and a couple of other things. That
Mhm.
literally happens in 5 seconds or less.
Right.
Now, that saves me an hour a week. It saves someone who would work for me 5 hours a week.
Yes.
So it's it. I have another agent I built just for a newsletter that I publish.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that I have there's like a column in there every month of important regulatory actions in that area or
Mm-hmm.
mergers and acquisitions. I have that set up. It researches all of that, writes a one paragraph summary of each one. And for that month, and it takes like literally 5 seconds. That's
Yeah.
the kind of thing would be hours of research, hours of writing.
That's right.
So AI is absolutely, and it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 40s, 60s, or 80s. I believe AI is going to be the most cataclysmic disruption of your entire career and
Mm-hmm.
life. So you better get behind it. You better get serious about it,
Yeah.
right? So every entrepreneur, I know your show really speaks to entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
I do a program with the guy who builds out my AI stuff. It's a webinar, half day webinar. if you look on my website under the events, anyone who's interested can register for that. I think the next one is in January. But it's specifically on how entrepreneurs can use AI.
Right.
Because it's funny, I used to say, if you're not using 20 AI 20 times a day, you don't get it. Then I
Okay.
started saying 40 times a day.
Hmm.
Then I was up to 60 times a day. Where I'm at today is if you're not using it at least 100 times a day, I don't think you get it.
Okay. But just another perspective. I mean, I want to understand how do you balance not being over dependent on it and trying. Obviously, you are mature enough to have that judgment of what the AI gives you as a result, right? As a workpiece that is given to you, you always review it. But for somebody who's trying to emulate what you're saying, right? Using it 20 times, 40 times, 60 times, how do they ensure that they do not become over dependent and not trust it blindly?
Okay, so a couple of things come to mind, and we could do a whole
Yeah, it's a full
29-hour
episode.
show on just that question.
Yeah,
So you're going to have to really do the superficial answer.
yeah.
But the superficial answer is, but this is short but very profound.
Hmm.
Do not use AI to think for you, which is the mistake people make.
That's right.
Hey, AI, my professor wants me to write a book report on this. Would you write it for me? You're an idiot
Yeah.
if you do that. Hey, AI, I've got this product I want to sell. Would you write a video sales letter script for that?
Hmm.
It's an idiot doing that. You're giving away your power. You're giving away the most powerful, the superpower you could have in the AI world is critical thinking.
That's right.
So I create, like my book, I'm just finishing my 16th book, right? Just
Hmm.
sent it to the editor a couple of weeks ago. So I put the book in my co CEO agent, right? And I said, would you review this book and let me know, do you see any errors, lapses in judgment, places where you think I could make a better segue from one
Right.
chapter to the next chapter? Specific questions like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And when the results come back, like at least once a day, I get chills in my body that I'm like, okay, there has to be a person hidden inside my laptop who's answering this question because there's no way a
Yeah.
machine could think in such nuanced thinking.
Hmm.
Because I'm not saying, hey, count the number of times I say you in this document, or I'm not saying, tell me how many words is this. I'm saying, is there any concepts that I didn't make clear? And they'll say, yeah, Randy, in chapter 7, when you talk about the principle of such and such, do you have a case study, an example where you did this with a client of yours that could give an example for the readers
Right.
so they would really understand this? The level of cognition,
Yeah. Cognitive.
intelligence, I
Yeah.
don't know what is the word we want to use, but
Yeah.
it's astounding,
Hmm.
right? It's astounding. So don't allow, and the other thing is like when I create agents for a specific task, I also like when I want something written, I want it to critique my writing.
Hmm.
I've trained it on my writing. And I say, like for instance, I have a couple of AI coaching programs we're going to launch in January. They're in a specific industry, and one is like a WhatsApp chat where they can ask questions of my bot, which I've trained with my material, and it gives them advice. And then I have a different one, which is just a operating system where again they can ask questions and my bot will give them
Hmm.
advice. I only train that on my IP or my intellectual property. In other
Hmm.
words, I don't want it to search the internet because if it
Right.
searches the internet, that's when it could hallucinate because
Yeah.
there's somebody out there who says, No, the real secret of success is you've got to bribe the little purple men who live on the moon. And if you don't bribe the little purple men, you'll never reach success. Well,
Yeah,
say, how does that crap come up in my, on my LLM?
I get
And the
it.
answer is because that crap is out there on the internet. And there's somebody who believes it, and they've got 17 podcasts on it. So when it's domain specific, your expertise specific, just train it on your material, and then it
Mhm.
can't hallucinate because it's only working with and you teach it. Do not look for outside sources for that. Use only the original source.
Yeah, that's true, right? I mean, I've been using it quite a few times, and there's one tip that I got from another guest was that treat it like an intern. You'll have to monitor what it does, right? I mean, when you're trying to give it a task, you'll have to treat it like a new person who's doing the job for you,
Yeah.
and give it some review and don't make sure that you just don't just put it out as it is. So yeah,
Yeah, like
there-
my agents are all created on
yeah,
ChatGPT. I will create, when I say I, of course, I'm
yeah,
talking about my guy who does it, but
yeah,
we will create the prompt on Perplexity
right,
because that works better for that. So we create a prompt on Perplexity and we enter that prompt in Chat GPT to create a custom GPT, right?
yeah,
Um, and then on those, everything on Chat GPT, that's really the one I use the most. It's my favorite. Every single answer it gives you, it wants you to rate it. Was this good or was this bad?
yeah.
And if you click that it wasn't good, it'll say, why wasn't this good?
Hmm.
Do you think I didn't do enough research? Did I draw a wrong conclusion? Was the information wrong? And that's the process your other guest was talking about. You're giving it real time feedback
Yeah.
and it iterates and it learns how to do a better answer the next time.
That's right. Yeah. So the last question that I had in mind was about leveraging people, right? But just keeping the shortage of time in mind, I want you to keep it brief. If there's one mistake that a lot of people are making, right, when it comes to leveraging, I don't know, is it saying leveraging people politically correct, or you just say working with the people around you, right? Getting the best out of people around you.
Yeah, so let's set this foundation. If you go out in the world looking for people you can leverage, you're not going to attract a very good result. You're not
Yeah.
going to create a very good result.
That's right.
If you have a cause, a mission, something you're trying to do, in my case, I am trying to raise the prosperity consciousness of the world.
Right.
That's my core business philosophy is I've made money, I'm well off. It's not about the money at this point. I believe in order for the world to get more prosperous, and we all want and need, we desperately
Yeah.
need the world to get more prosperous because
Yeah.
there's a lot of lack, limitation, limiting beliefs,
Hmm.
negative programming, negative mind viruses out there, a lot of poverty consciousness. And you're in India, you see it every day, you're surrounded with it. There's a lot of poverty consciousness there, as there is everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, the way we raise the prosperity of the world is we raise the consciousness of people, the
Yeah.
people of the world. So that's my mission. So when I attract somebody like Samuel, my executive assistant, who arranged this podcast with you, he's bought into that mission. Like,
Hmm.
hey, this is he's a young guy. He's 23 years old, I think, college student. This is his
Yeah.
first real job. He sees it as, wow, I'm doing something really cool and I'm making the world a better place. And
Yeah.
I'm, part of the movement. I attract people like that. And and here's the thing. I think the fastest way to become prosperous is to be an entrepreneur, not an employee.
Hmm.
I also recognize not everybody's got the mindset or the desire to become an entrepreneur, or
Yeah.
they're not there yet. So they need to. I love that they're going to first work at McDonald's. And that's what I did. I first washed dishes in a restaurant, right? That was my first job, minimum wage dishwasher. But I learned the value of work and developed more skills and then
Mhm.
created more value and got promoted and then ultimately decided, hey, I want to work for myself.
Yeah.
So we can attract people who are on that journey and they aren't yet at the entrepreneurial journey
Hmm.
and they want to be an employee and they want to work for you because they'll believe in your cause and
Hmm.
then you can they can join your team and it helps you
Yes.
create leverage to take your goal, which ideally your business and your goal and your vision is all one thing, which is
Yeah.
if you read the book The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek,
Mhm.
he calls it your just cause. If you have
Right.
this just cause you're pursuing, it's all congruent.
Thank you so much, Randy. I mean, there's been a lot of knowledge that I need to sum up at this point of time, and I might run out of words. Thank you so much for this episode. We talked about AI, we talked about prosperity consciousness, and yeah, the three levers, right? Time, money, and people that you can leverage and just grow better in life. Thank you so much for joining in on this episode of Your Lab Central. Before I leave, you already mentioned that you're available on your website, but what are the other ways that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, a couple of resources I would suggest for people. So randygage.com is kind of my Starfleet command site. My
Yeah.
blog you can get to from there. My podcast you can get to from there. My books will have links to they're on Amazon.
Mhm.
But right on the homepage, there's a free resource. It's a PDF, The Seven Elements of an Abundant Life.
Right.
Download that. It's free. It really can give you some tangible value. And I know you guys watching and listening to this show, you're entrepreneurial. I have a entrepreneur growth accelerator program. It's called
Mhm.
Breakthrough You. If you think that's right for you, click that link on my webpage and it'll give you all the details. And consider what would be the right level to play with me in my sandbox at Breakthrough You.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thanks once again for joining me in on this episode of Your Lab Central. To the audience who's been watching and listening, do leave a like. I'm sure you liked the episode. The comment section is open for questions, suggestions, and any other perspectives you might have to what we talked about. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, Randy.